friends, welcome back to Savior of the Second. My name is Adam. I go by Coach Hard Gains. That's the name of my coaching platform. I've been coaching bodybuilding, addiction recovery, mentoring troubled youth, and teaching self-defense for over 20 years. Today I wanted to talk about this. The Beretta Pico. Is this a firearm or is this a novelty? That's a good question. And see, I think I'm one of the best people to answer this because I am a huge Ruger LCP fan. But not every LCP. I have had all of them. The 1, the 2, the 1 specials, the 1 customs, the 2 special and anniversaries, the max. The only LCP I want and have not found yet is the Max Elite. That is one I have not found. So this Ruger LCP, when it came out, it was referred to as the special. But since then, we have found in many of my other videos, I pointed out that this is actually just a Davidson custom. It has upgraded sights. It has the skeletonized anodized trigger. And in reality, it fires beautifully. I have put thousands of rounds through this one specifically. This was my first one. This is the same exact gun as that, except for this one has the Crimson Trace. Same trigger. I have a hoe grip rather than the Talon grip. See that? And I have a Hive mag extension. So that is the second one. And then I had gotten rid of all my other LCPs that were not like these. And I had on my radar this one, which is another Davidson custom. The same trigger as the other one, and then hoe grip and Hive mag extension. Now this happens to be what I've been carrying today, and if you don't know already, as a coach, I'm typically in gym clothes, so that is why the LCP has become one of my main carry options. So easily concealable. I love the new option for belly bands. One of my first carry options was this, the DeSantis holder inside the waistband, and it has become slightly stretched out over time. So I do have to be quite careful, but it does have a secondary mag holder, and it's been a great little holster for it. So the Ruger LCP Special or Custom is actually one of my all-time favorite carry options for the reasons I just stated. And all 3 of those have never given me any issues, no failures, unless it was maybe one failure of ejection here or there, depending on dirty ammo or old ammo. So, and I've also had Glock 42s, a number of them, and, 30s, 30S, and my main daily is the Glock 43X, when I do not need a micro. But I have had the Beretta Pico on my radar for quite some time. And I finally found one that was in the condition I was at least willing to accept, with the pouch and coming original with a secondary mag. So you get the extended mag and you get the flush mount mag. Now, the Beretta Pico is supposedly the thinnest micro 380 in the world. And it is. It is thinner than the LCP. Now, we have other videos on this, but this is going to be the full-length, more encompassing video. So it is a hair, maybe a 1/16 of an inch, thinner than the LCPs, but it is about the same length, but the grip is nowhere near as good as the LCP. The trigger is nowhere near as good as the LCP. And on the Beretta Pico, you have a flush mount slide release, which a lot of times you just can't even find it. It's not even functional. And it hurts your finger, and I'm not a puss. And then this stupid little mag release, which is a pain in the ass, and you really can't do it with one hand. You actually have to take your second hand and pull the mag release. So it's not a button release, right? And they say it's so that you don't accidentally drop your mag. I don't know how many people accidentally drop their mag based on a mag release button. I don't think I ever have. So this mag release is ambidextrous, but it's dual-sided. It's on both sides. And you have to push down for it to work. Watch. pushing down. So down. And it's sharp. It doesn't feel good. So I put a few rounds through this. And it shot okay. Recoil, I would say, is slightly more, slightly, ever so slightly, a little bit more manageable than the LCP, only because of, I guess apparently it's this little internal cant of the barrel that makes recoil a little bit more manageable than the LCP. But the grip on this, now granted, okay, this is the standard grip, and as I showed you, all of my LCPs, I have some type of grip, secondary grip addition. So here, Talon. On the other two, I've got the Hogues. I'm just going to cut to the chase. I have not carried this except for only to do it intentionally and say, well, I just got the Beretta Pico. I'm going to try carrying it for a day. I shot it. Not a big fan of the trigger. Not a big fan of the mag release. Not a big fan of the slide release. Sights are okay. They're better than like an LCP1 standard. But I would never carry this as my main carry option. Never. Because functionally, as a shooter, it is not something that I think makes sense. Whereas with the LCP, the trigger, the sights, the mag release, the slide release, everything makes sense. And it shoots so well. And everyone that I've ever introduced to the LCP specials or customs has always, I've been able to teach them how to shoot these well. And with the sights that are a little bit better here, you actually can reacquire your target quite easily. So the Beretta Pico is not something I would ever carry, because I know that the LCP that I love is a much better option, a much more functional option, a much more shooter-friendly option. The Beretta Pico, I would say, would only ever come in handy if you really, really needed something very, very thin that did not profile if you are a thin person. I'm 5'10", currently 180 pounds. I've lost about 6 or 7 pounds recently for the summer, and I'm typically about 186, 187. So, but I'm a 29-inch, 30-inch waist. So I'm thin waist, and I do not like wearing extra large shirts. So I typically will wear a large. If I wear anything smaller than that, it's too tight and I print. But the Beretta Pico is not a functional option. It is not something I'm going to ever use. Ever. To me, it's a novelty. It's a complete novelty. I can say I have one, I'll put it in the safe, and it will probably sit there. And when I die, it'll go to one of my 6 kids. Now, the last thing I want to point out is the takedown is a little bit different than everything else. So you would take your flush mount mag, and you would stick the mag right there in that little flathead screw, and you would twist. Make sure you pull the trigger, and just like a lot of other takedown processes. And so that's kind of cool, but again, I think that's more of a novelty than anything. The LCP, I'm just used to breaking them down, field stripping and cleaning those, where I think it's just a little bit more functional. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you're looking for the best micro 380 to actually consider as a carry option, these LCPs are phenomenal. They are absolutely phenomenal. And I love them to death. So again, this is an LCP1, and they have the special triggers, and they have better sights. This one is the anniversary, but it's not as good as these. The sights obviously are just a little... But it's better than an LCP1. Standard LCP1. So, and with the Hive mag, I can actually wrap my pinky up there on it. And I'm a large glove with the Hive mag, okay? But with the extended mag, I cannot. Okay? So my but the nice thing is my pinky goes right under there. The extension, the curvature of the extended mag goes right over my pinky, and my pinky actually, that helps me stabilize something so small. And so it's actually quite functional. So if you are someone who's looking for a micro 380, I'm going to steer you, I have to steer you away from the Beretta Pico. And I want to encourage you to go find one of these LCPs that I have now pointed out. And the LCP Max is a good option. I just don't like the trigger. The LCP Max Anniversary is a good option. That's a little different trigger. And the LCP Max Elite, I think, is the best option of the Maxes. And I shot one when they were first released years ago, and like an idiot, I missed an opportunity to buy one, which I should have, but I had already had 4 LCPs like this. But then I got rid of my LCP ones, and I should have gotten that Elite. Now again, I'm coming at this as somebody who needs to carry a micro quite frequently. If you don't need to carry a micro, or if you don't need to carry 380, I would absolutely steer you to just a compact or subcompact and a 9mm. The Glock 43X is a phenomenal gun, as everybody already knows. And the new 43X coming out will come standard with a front rail. Whereas the 43X generation that I have, the MOS version obviously came with the rail, but mine did not. I opted for the option without it. Because again, it's my carry option, and I didn't want a rail on it. So that's the Beretta Pico in a nutshell. It's a novelty. It's going to sit in my safe and take up space. There's not a whole lot of space left, so it's a good thing it's small. All right, catch you next video, guys. This is Savior the Second. Thanks for watching.